Alrighty, gentlemen, how's it going? How are we doing? It's Wednesday, and it's that time once again for us to hang out and to sharpen one another and to have a cup of coffee together and to stretch each other's thinking. I hope that you can jump on and join us. Right now, I'm all by myself, but I'm excited. Maybe you guys are having a barbecue. With this lovely weather, you can't tell, isn't it? Because it's next week is winter, so you better make sure that this is the one. This is the one. If you haven't had any barbecue this year, I hope that is what's keeping you from this session this evening. But anyway, it's good to be on here. And as I said, we are going to continue on the discussion, just talking about what does a right mindset look like. What does it look like to have a mindset that can take us to a place where we haven't been before? I think that's the kind of question that we have to continue to ask ourselves. And sometimes the answer, we might not be very excited about the answer because it is going to require some work. Last week we read a scripture and it says that do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. To be transformed, to be changed, to become something or somebody different that people won't even recognize. But the Bible says, don't be conformed or transformed by this world system. But our job is to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, that we may prove what is that good and that perfect will of God. What is the will of God for our lives? You and I will be able to prove that if we have the right kind of thinking. So that's the question that we have to ask yourself. That question: do I have the right kind of thinking towards? I believe where it starts is, what kind of thinking do I have towards myself? Am I insecure? Do I think I'm just a useless nobody? I'm just like kind of like winging it, and I'm not gifted. I'm no. No, but you gotta make sure you develop the right kind of thinking towards yourself, because you will not be able to love yourself beyond the way you love. You won't be able to love me beyond the way you love yourself. So if you talk about self-love, you better get into that self-love. Look in the mirror and change the thinking or change the thoughts that you think towards yourself. Tell you Kendrick, hey boy, you are handsome. What's up, bro? I know I'm messing with some of you guys' mind, but you gotta do that. Uh, don't just wait for your wife to tell you that. You have to make sure that you gotta whisper in your own ear and let yourself know that you are worth investing in yourself, and that will change your way of thinking. What kind of thinking do you have when it comes to your family? What kind of thinking do I have when it comes when it comes to my family? Do I feel that they are just a burden? Can y'all just leave me alone? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if am I the only German in yeah, the only Jew in Jerusalem. No, we have to make sure that we celebrate your family, and because it's an honor and a privilege to be given. I was telling the wife the other day, um, kind of like, sometimes we just have some of these deep conversations, and she like to have these deep conversations when we're on the motorway. And she know that I can't run anywhere. I say, baby, I am handling heavy equipment. Don't talk to me about that right now. Yeah, but so we had one of these conversations where I'm like, couldn't you choose a different time to talk about this? And but we have to make sure that we shape our thinking We have to shape. Yeah, that's a very powerful way. You shape your thinking. You kind of like, because how do we change our thinking? We change it with the word. Our environment changes our thinking. Even you and I are thinking in a certain way, even based on where we grew up. If your mama used to tell you that you are useless, maybe that's where the insecurity comes from. If your mama told you that, I know my mom used. One day my mom asked me, why are your legs so thin, boy? I was like, Mama, why are you doing me like this? It's okay if people out there telling me, Mama, Kerry got such thin legs, but if you ask me, oh my goodness, I'd carry that scar with me for the rest of my life. But now then my wife came and said, oh baby, you got some sexy legs. So now I'm wearing shorts now, Puti. Oh man, but it's just amazing how how words can shape our thinking, how words can shape our behavior, how words can take us to uh, if you listen to expose yourself to certain kind of um, thinking on a regular basis, day in and day out. We don't even give you that long. We give you a few months, and something is gonna just drip out of your mouth. And like, oops, I didn't mean to say that. Is because of what you've been listening to. Is because of what you've been hanging around. So it's not necessarily negative, but I'm talking about from positive perspective. It's like every time, maybe when you used to hear me, it's like I'm always maybe negative or whatever. But now suddenly it's like, there's nothing wrong with the world. Everybody is good. There's nobody evil. And then suddenly you will be like, nah, something has changed with Kendrick. What happened? It's it's because of the things you're listening to, isn't it? So do not take that for granted, gentlemen. Now, does it look like I'm gonna have fun by myself on here today? Gentlemen, don't do me like that. Come on now, let's jump on here and let's talk. Let's talk. Of course, I've got some talking points here, but obviously I can't talk I can talk about myself, but the value that is going to come out is not going to be the same if somebody jumps on here and joins me. But if not, then we'll just go with the flow. And even my thinking is, how do you see yourself? We just looked at how do you see yourself as your family? What kind of thinking do you have towards your family? Excuse me. What kind of thinking do you have towards God? I'm pausing there for a second. The screen did not freeze. I was pausing. What kind of thinking do you have towards God? Do you feel like God is kind of like just you just like a by thought? He does not take you serious. He does not even remember you in your day of darkness. Um, what's your thinking towards him? Because remember last week when we spoke, Clinton said something very powerful. He said that we can fall into the habit of always be in a thinking mode. What are you doing, Kendrick? I'm just thinking, man. I'm in my thinking chair and I'm just thinking. And 3 months down the line, what are you doing, Kendrick? Have from that previous time that you've been thinking, any new projects did you give birth to anything? Nah, I'm still thinking, man. And Clinton mentioned that sometimes that's our bottleneck. That's where we get stuck because we overthink things. We overthink it because, um, can we just call it as it is? Because you're scared. Because I'm scared. We are scared of the unknown. We are scared of not knowing what will happen if I move on this thing. Am I gonna look like like a nincompoop if I tell everybody, listen here, this year, this year we are making £1 million, bruh. And then everybody's eyes go like, oh really, Kendrick? Let's see how you're gonna do that. Oh man. But you know what, it's oh, I got my friend on here. Let me bring Mr. Jordan on here. And Hello, Mr. Jordan. Oh my goodness, sir. So good to have you. Can you
Hi,
hear
good day, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me just double check my. I'm connected with my AirPods.
All right, no worries. I'll take you out and you sort yourself out, all right? And as soon as I
Okay,
see you
thanks, sir.
sorted out, I'll bring you in. So so what kind of a thinking do you have towards God? Yeah, that's what you and I have to ask ourselves. Am I having a kind of thinking towards God that causes me to live a life that is not going to end up anywhere? Hmm? Where are we with that? Because I believe there are certain thinking patterns or certain thinking uh, behaviors that is, my goodness, it's non-negotiable. We have to think in a certain way to get to certain places, because first thing that I've mentioned earlier is like, if you and I have the wrong thinking. Let me see if Mr. Jordan is ready. Are you ready, sir? Okay, I'm just going to leave him in there. The first thing is, if you and I don't have the right kind of thinking when it comes to our self-image, you can shut the door. You can shut it. Why? Because um, it's the image that you and I have of ourselves that will produce confidence. And the scripture, I believe that confidence is like a currency, isn't it? It's like the man that walks around with confidence shall not be, shall not stand ashamed. Why? Is because he have the confidence in his God. He has a confidence in his skills. He have confidence in his abilities. He has confidence. You might be saying, Kendrick, but why are you mentioning all of the other bits? I thought we just need to have confidence in God. Yes, you need to have confidence in God. Yeah, but why would you not want to have confidence in your abilities? Because He gave you those abilities. He gave them to you. So let's try Mr. Jordan again. Um, can you hear me, sir? I'll leave you in there, and just put your volume when you're ready, sir. I'm just gonna kind of like run my mouth here and just wait for you to bring me those gold nuggets. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Um, now, so we looked at the picture. What picture do you have towards you in terms of your thinking? What kind of a mindset do you have when it comes to thinking about God, thinking about your wife? What kind of a thinking do you? I mean, man, don't even entertain anything negative regarding your wife, because certain thoughts, they are seed, and if you entertain certain seed, I think any seed for that matter, because any seed has the potential to grow. So if you entertain a seed that is negative thinking towards your wife, towards your children, my goodness, that is breeding ground for trouble. Because remember now, eventually, if we think something long enough, what will happen? We kind of like start believing that, and when you start believing it, you start to behave in that way. And when you start behaving that way, your behavior will become eventually you. We can't then separate your behavior from you, because you are your behavior. But I know that we don't really want to put it in that way, because I'm not my behavior, because my behavior is evidence of what may be going on in my head. But I think we are above our behavior. And sometimes what happens is people judge us based on how we behave. They judge us based on what's coming out of our mouths. Uh, yeah, and sometimes it's hard to convince somebody who you really are, if they've made up their mind that this is who Kendrick is. Uh, I've I've made up. I drew a conclusion within the first 5 seconds when I met him, and he can't change my mind. No. It's not your job to get people to change their thinking towards you. You just live your life. Mr. Jordan, are you there, sir? I'm not sure if you're still working on your volume, but if you are, just drop me a text on my phone. Then we can take it from there. But I'm excited to have you on here. So you and I will just have a conversation, and we're just gonna talk and break it down a couple of things. Because one of the things I want to actually look at this evening is we kind of like just went through a few bits. Remember, because you as an individual, you are multifaceted, isn't? You're not just a father, you're not just a husband or uh, an employer or an employee, or no, there are so many. You're not just a man of God. Some men of God on here. So no, that's you, and that's why it's important for us um, to kind of like have a clear understanding as to how do we bring all of that together, where a certain kind of thinking will complement who we are. Me being a father can complement me being a husband, the kind of thinking. But one of the thinkings that I wanted us to cover on, or that we are going to look at this evening, is just a few pointers. I believe that on here, we are entrepreneurs. We are business people. We are people that are called to make a difference. We are called to have an impact in the community, to change somebody's life. Sometimes I swallow my words because I'm excited. But there is a kind of a thinking, I believe, that an entrepreneur should possess, or this kind of like a trend, a kind of like a certain way of thinking. And I wanted us to kind of like just touch on that, and just see whether we can. Let me see, Mr. Jordan. I was so excited, and I still am, when I saw him popping up, but I think he's having some technical issues. But that's fine. That's just the nature of technology and all of these things, isn't it? All right. Let me mention one of the things that I wanted us to touch on today, and I really do hope that something resonates with you, and you can identify yourself in here in one way or the other, because I'm so confident that that we are called to be entrepreneurs, isn't it? We are not here by mistake, just to kind of like like just get along with just go with the flow. No, we make the flow. We're not here to kind of like sit on the bench and waiting for things to happen. No, we make it happen. So, and I believe part of that calling, you can count yourself in if you want. You can count yourself in, but just think about it. The Bible does say that God has made us kings and He has made us priests. Now, if he did that, what does it mean? He called us to lead. He has called us to be men of influence. He has called us to be men that is in the forefront of things. Men that are not civilians, men that are kind of like, you cry at night, but when you get up in the morning, you're ready to go again. I know you don't want me to hear me say that, isn't it? It's okay to cry, baby. Cry, man, cry. But listen here. Once you finish crying, just dry your tears and let's go again. No, let's go again. And I think the place of deceit, where we're being deceived, is we think that we are easily knocked out of the race of life. No, we're not. The only time, or only uh, all right, uh, all right, let me bring, okay, let me bring, yes sir, you are live, sir. Can you hear me? I recommend that you go out, and then you just as you come in, there's an option where you can, okay, let me just see something, 1 second. I think I can do something with your thing here. All right, gentlemen, just bear with me, okay? I just want to see if I can adjust my brother's volume. Okay. Anything? No. All right, try to go out and come back in again. It might take you this time around, sir. Yeah, it might take you this time around. Awesome. This is a safe environment. We can make bloops, yeah. I know that you guys understand. You know the drill. Is because we are this is training ground. This is why we can come on here with confidence, and not be kind of like over concerned when things go wrong, because this is where we train to fix things and to know how to deal with things when it doesn't go according to plan. I think that you are still down, my brother. I can't hear anything. My volume is to the max. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm completely on the maxed out. Give me a sec. Let me just see if I play something, whether I can hear volume coming through. 1 second. I'll tell you now.
In every hour, then.
Yep. So my volume is good. My volume is good on the side. So okay, sir. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's try the PC. All right. I'll see you in a sec. All right. See you in a bit. Thank you. All right. Now, where was I? I lost my train of thought. But anyway, what were we talking about? Is that I believe that you and I have been called to be entrepreneurs. God has made us kings, and He has made us priests. So, which means we should be at a place where we, you should be. So, I was doing a training for a church. I think it's last Sunday. Oh yeah, last Sunday, and I got another session coming up this Sunday on leadership, and I, when you don't see yourself as a leader, you don't carry yourself as one. Why? Because you can only carry yourself as something that you see yourself as, because it's not the reality. It's not your reality. It's like if anybody talks leadership, it's like you like look around. No, that doesn't apply to me. No, it applies to you. It applies to me. Why? Because when you got born again, He said He made you a king and He made me a priest. So we are both kings and priests. So have you ever heard of a king that does not lead, unless he is a useless king? So that's why we are called to lead. But that is a kind of thinking. That is, it does not just come automatically. It's something that you and I have to cultivate that. We have to work on that. And I think I believe that applies to every area of our lives. There are certain things that we just have to, unless we believe it without a shadow of a doubt, if I don't see myself or think rich. Oh man, I was sharing something with one of the brothers the other day. I was saying to him, listen here, bro, we always think in the future. Everything is one day I'm gonna drive my Defender. One day I'm going to fly my plane. One day is always I want to. So what you do is like, what we do is we oh yeah, that's my bro. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, sir. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Some technical difficulties, but we crack on.
No worries. I managed to keep the fort. Now it was just about to collapse, and then you came on.
No, excellent.
No, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated.
Brilliant.
Family okay on your side?
Yeah, everyone's good.
Brilliant.
Had a good holiday. We're just trying to stay alive with the heat wave, but yeah, it's
this
good.
One
Good, nice hot
showed
weather.
up last week. Is it not? When did I go on holiday? You should have showed up the last weekend of the holiday, man, the 29th. Oh man, I was so confident that it was gonna come because they promised us, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think what you must try next year is do 2 weeks back to back, and 3 weekends included, and it should feel like a holiday.
Yeah. Now I was saying every time when somebody asks, so Kendrick, how was the holiday? I say, what holiday? I need a holiday. I need a holiday now, bro. Yeah, no, but you know, it's a privilege, you know, to just give the guys, because they grow up so quickly now. The two older ones, they say, what, Butlins? Me, what am I gonna go and do with Butlins? What am I gonna go do with Haven? Say, oh, okay. Before they used to be excited, and I say, okay, then where you want to go? Send me to Paris or send me to France. I say, oh, okay, go get a job.
Yeah, no, it's that natural, because they have to make that transition, isn't it? From becoming independent.
Absolutely.
So it's also a crucial stage for them, which is good. As long as you enjoyed yourself when they were little, that should all be fine. Yeah,
that's key, man. My baby is going to school tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, all excited,
bro. I'm feeling like, whoa, where did the time go, man? You know, when you, because obviously because I'm working from home, it's always there, isn't it? It's like,
you
know, I can expect it to walk into the office anytime and come and bang on the door, but now it's gonna be like, oh, it's a bit quiet around
it's
here.
Quiet now. Yeah, definitely. You'll miss her.
Awesome. But it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, excellent.
Awesome. So I've kind of like started the conversation just talking about the importance of great thinking, and there's a couple of things that I was kind of like about to start mentioning to the guys, because just to bring you in a little bit so that we can be on the same page. I was kind of like just running through the kind of thinking that we should have a certain kind of thinking as a husband, certain kind of thinking as a, as a dad, as an employer or employee. Why? Because our thinking will determine how far we can go in that specific area. Because it all starts with our way of thinking. Everything starts with the way of thinking. And I went back onto the scripture we used last week, which is talking about that we should not be conformed to this world, but we should be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Because the world want to conform us, the world want to shape us into something that we don't really want to be. But sometimes the reason why they can manage to do that is because we ourselves, we don't even know what we want to be. So that's the problem right there. If you don't know who you are or what you want to become, somebody say, oh, I got an idea, let's do this with your life. I said, oh, okay, yeah, you can do this and that, and then you can do that, and then okay, I'll call you. Don't call me, okay? I'll call you later. Yeah, because everybody will have kind of like an opinion what we should do with our life, and we should not allow that, because not even God will tell you. He will give you advice and say, listen here, I put before you, winner, life and death, blessings and curses. He put
exactly.
it clear in front of you, but he still tell you, you choose. I'm not gonna choose for you. You make sure that you choose, and whatever you choose, that will be your life. And then other people want to, yeah, but that's kind of like the direction that I was kind of like just talking to the guys about now. Is there's a certain kind of thinking that you and I should develop. But now I ended off, or kind of like started to touch on. I believe that all of us are entrepreneurs. All of us, we are businessmen, because we are called to lead within our community. We are called to be influencers. Yeah. I do believe that there's a certain kind of thinking attached to an entrepreneur. There's a certain entrepreneurial thinking that we cannot escape. Yeah. So that's where we are right now, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And yeah, let's just see what wisdom is going to spring forth, sir, as we let me mention a couple of things here. Now, I do believe that an entrepreneur needs to be somebody with vision. They see different to other people, isn't it? They see things. It's like they visualize opportunities that other people can't visualize. Yeah. Now, that's the first thing. Now, I guess the question that I most probably will just throw out there, just on that one point, is, can you speak into that? What's your thought on that? How important do you think visualization is to an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it's very important, because you have to draw from all your experiences just to figure something complex out, to get some sort of a roadmap. Now, most companies develop a roadmap to create the vision that they need.
Yeah.
But you can't just create a roadmap. You draw your colleagues in, get everyone's discussions, and you brainstorm the idea.
Yeah.
And sometimes you take a full day. Some companies put a full week out to know what to do for the year.
Yeah.
But for you as an individual, you do the same.
Yeah.
You draw from all your experiences. And as an entrepreneur, your experiences will dictate where your strengths lie in your decision making and your risk taking. But I also think you have that determination to not settle for average, because I think an average mind thinks average thoughts.
Ooh, yes, sir.
Yeah, which gives average results.
That's right.
And like you said, we can't limit ourselves by allowing the past or others to dictate our potential.
Yeah.
Because God has already given the potential to us. Now, the only thing that stands in our way is ourself, and our self-belief and our confidence in believing who we are, because we can make the difference.
Right on, sir.
And it doesn't come overnight. I think when you're young, you tend to not want to put your hand up in class.
That's right. It's like
you look around and you hope your friend is putting his hand up. And
that's right.
But now the teacher asks a question, and it's the one you don't understand, but nobody puts their hand up.
Yeah.
So are you going to put your hand up and get the answer? Or are you going to sit back? So what some people do is they don't put their hand up, and they regret it afterwards, because your homework needs to be in tomorrow, and you could have had the answer. And now tomorrow morning you still don't have the answer, and the work must go in.
Oh man, that's right. That's right.
So I think for an entrepreneurial thought process, you have to have a bit of determination to believe in yourself, so that you can push forward when obstacles come. And you draw from others' advice and experience, but ultimately you make the decision.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and you don't waste time. Also, you crack on with plan A.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you work on it, you might find there's stuff in plan B that you thought of that you can implement, or plan C.
Yeah.
But you don't just go with one plan.
Now, quick, let me
yeah.
dive in here before you I can see exactly how you're putting it all together. Yeah. But I want to dive in here. I want to dive in here and just ask you one question, because I've mentioned visualization. So what do we do then if they don't see what you see? Because the challenge with that is, if I build a team and you meant to run with the team, but they don't see what you see, is either you're gonna run and leave them behind,
yeah,
or you're gonna kind of like go at a slow pace and kind of like be impatient and kind of like yeah. So how do you think we can bridge that, sir? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah,
because I just wanted
absolutely.
to put in there because you were just saying such good stuff there. I just wanted you to bring that also in there.
Absolutely. Someone mentioned in one of our construction conferences that we see in 3D every day. Every human being sees in 3D. But when it comes to interpreting construction projects and designs, a lot of people can't make sense of the information. The two-dimensional drawings, the isometric views, the documents with just text in. You try and bring a concept across for people to build something. Designers put it on paper historically.
Yeah.
It's only the clever engineers, the ones who exercise the ability.
Okay.
And they might have done their studies. They've spent years perfecting, visualizing somebody else's plan from a 2D perspective.
Yeah.
Historically, everything was built like that, from St. Paul's Cathedral to the Channel Tunnel. All these sketches and old buildings were started two-dimensional paper. So a few engineers, and there's one in particular, Brunel in London, who built the sewers. He's a very good engineer. He also visualized how to build some of the historic bridges, like in Scotland, the Humber Bridge. And then you find some of these engineers then went on to build the Eiffel Tower. There's a particular architect who then built the steel bridge across the river in Porto in Portugal. But it's the same guy. Why did they use the same guy to commission work elsewhere? Because he's the one with the insight.
Wow.
And no one else. But he's perfected that. And these guys go into the history books.
Yeah.
So if you study engineering, you'll come across them in lectures. You'll hear about, and their projects still stand today, whereas others have been demolished. They always refer to some of these like painters, like Van Gogh, when you come to art.
Yeah.
So an entrepreneur is someone with creativity.
That's right.
But if you've got creativity, you've got lots of chaos going on. But you have to, let's say you put it on paper as an artwork and others don't like it. How do you convey why you've done what you've done and what the reasons be? Because there's always a story behind your illustration.
Yeah.
Coming back to what we see as 3D in the world.
Yeah.
That's how the construction industry a couple of years ago, in the last decade, thought that we need to transition. We went from paper to computer-aided drawings. And now we're in the stage where we go the last decade into 3D modeling and visualization.
Yeah.
Only now we're getting the efficiencies back in the construction industry where everybody, even the secretary, can see the 3D model and comment on it. Whereas before, people couldn't visualize what's being built because it's on technical drawings, and only the engineers who studied how to read it could build it. So that's how important visualization is. If we can demonstrate something in 3D, you might have noticed when we had PowerPoint presentations and graphs, if you had a pie chart or the line graph, it was all linear and colors basically used. The colors are used to create perspective and differences. And then you can link your data to it. So it might show 12 months along the bottom and values, say for rainfall, up to whatever millimeters. And you can see every month in the UK what the rainfall is for every town historically. Later on, we got 3D graphs coming out where the pie chart jumps out and the slices, you can view it as a piece of cake looking at an isometric view.
That's right.
People understand that better because people visualize what's being said about the data. And then it goes further. What they found out is if the chart is too complex, you lose people.
Okay.
So you strip down to the most important data and you only present that in a simple 3D way. And that's the best graph. You draw people's attention and you get your message across to a wider audience.
Wow. So what you're basically saying is kind of like just to take out one of the main things that you've mentioned is that with everything that people are with, for example, within construction, when the main guy put everything together, there's no guarantee that everyone will understand what it is he's trying to demonstrate so you have to find the most common method, whether it is 2D, 3D. I don't know if you guys do fourth dimensional. You do 4D. So whichever one you guys are using, you will go with that which everyone can kind of like connect with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's something called levels of detail or levels of definition. And in construction, you start with it's called LOD 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
So normally that is exactly what you said. LOD 1 would be something complex demonstrated as something very simple and visual.
Yeah.
And then you can add detail to it up to where your visualization gets to photorealistic rendering. And that's what we see, something that is similar to what the end product is going to be as you would see it in real life.
Okay.
And when we've done some research reports for the government on visualization especially, on the one extreme, you got virtual reality.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, man, I've experienced that a little bit over the holidays. Oh,
yeah. So it's digital. It's digital, and it tricks you into perceiving an immersive experience.
Yeah.
So you have your goggles, or you have the goggles on, but you think you're standing on the Eiffel Tower.
My goodness.
So it's tricking your brain.
Yeah.
Then you have augmented reality on the other extreme. And augmented reality is only something that's real, draped over the actual thing you want to show. For instance, if I know there's a gas pipeline underground, I can put it in a view that shows the field where the gas pipe is, like a picture of the field, but faint, you'll see under that the position of the gas line. Okay. So you see both. You see the reality and you see something below that underground.
Wow.
And that's augmented reality. So the reality is augmented on the item you want to show, which is underground.
So is that real though, or is it just kind of like just messing with your head?
it's messing with the head. It's augmented, because if it's real and you look at the field, you wouldn't see underground. But they augment what's designed underground with the reality.
Wow.
And between those,
using big words is like going over my head, like augmentation.
Yeah. But if you think of it,
Yes,
that's the one extreme, and
Yeah.
so virtual reality on the one hand, and augmented reality on the other hand, and then you have mixed reality in between, which could be anything between a combination of the two. So doctors, when they do an MRI scan, that machine will scan through your body, through your head, your skeleton, and it will actually print in 3D virtual reality view of your brain. So that's how they check for tumors.
Wow.
So the technologies in the medical field, the concepts are in car manufacturing. We even had cases now where Land Rover in Birmingham started doing sales on augmented or virtual reality. So you would have an immersive experience, and you choose your Land Rover that you want with the right color. You choose your interior, you choose the stitching, you choose all the color options, and you can change them before they actually finalize the paperwork. And that's giving you better insight and options into what you're getting. So you're more happy to pay for it because you're customizing it.
And you can see already what it's going to look like, isn't it?
Yeah, and the car manufacturer is not spending any money in wasting on something that the client doesn't want.
It doesn't want. It's not going to sell.
Yeah. So there's various cases and examples of visualization, and how that enables us to draw other people into the right conclusion, the right decision, the unified collaborative support that's needed to complete something. Because things take time. If you can visualize it, you can get agreement.
That's it.
And then you can have a better outcome, and you can plan better.
That's right. Wow, I love the way how you bring it from an engineering perspective, right? Because engineering is all about visualization, isn't it? Because if they can't see, you can't design. If you can't see it, you can't design it, isn't it? Because somebody needs to have that blueprint in their head first. Before it can go down either on digital or even just old-fashioned paper. Somebody have to see that first, and I like how that kind of like just like pull out what we are talking about, because visualization for us as leaders, it's crucial. We can't bypass that. We can't bypass that. But I think the key is not so much whether you can see clear what it is that you're after building or with the destination of where you're looking to go, but is the ability to make sure that you can get others to see what you see. Because otherwise you're just going to be a lone ranger. You're going to kind of be like, yeah, let's do this, and you look and like, where's everybody? Kind of thing. And that's not what we're after. One of the most powerful things that you and I can do for humanity is to build something that will last forever. And that's why it's so important for us to know how to visualize and transfer that to those that God has blessed us with. I think that's key.
Yeah, I think a lot of the research in the government's approach, when it comes to public spending, is especially in the Western world, first world countries, residents who pay taxes know when money is being wasted now. And to demonstrate that money isn't being wasted, the spending needs to be demonstrated. So public consultation is part of the deliverables, so that you can, and the only way to engage the public as to what is being built and the approval for it is to show the visualization. And if people buy into the concept, no, but we like this design for this new town, or we like the road layout, we don't like this, then they comment before the money is spent. Once the project goes ahead, the opportunity is passed for the public to participate.
Oh yeah, the building is already standing. The road is already built.
So when it comes to the operation and maintenance of anything going forward, I would like to think we don't want to build a house we live in and we know it's going to fall down in 10 years, but we expect to live for 80 years. We at least want it to last a lifetime. So we're going to plan for that. But what's crucial is after it's being built, who's going to operate and maintain it to ensure it's going to last. So for that, you also need careful planning to get the operation and maintenance program linked to at the start when you design it. So your choice of materials and your choice of cleaning products, all that is factored in from the manufacturers down to the person buying it. So people would spend more for something really fancy that they know is going to last a long time. A good example in the industry is Sydney's Opera House in Australia. This is a building that was built in the 1960s, but they basically over-designed it to be acoustically near perfect. And they wanted it to be maintained for many, many generations. So they designed the foundations, everything so solid that it will stand the test of time. But they were more interested in the longevity of what it stands for. We have the Eiffel Tower as another example in Paris. It's a symbol. We have the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I don't know what's gone wrong there, but the foundations wasn't designed for the type of clay ground. So you got the tower leaning. So you can't overlook the foundations of something. To know how long it's going to last or stand. So the more you can concentrate, I think, on the basis of what you're putting your efforts in, you will get better results if there's more thought given. That's the same for our lives. That's the same for our health. And the basis is sometimes the basic principles in something very simple, like brushing your teeth every day to ensure you don't have to lose a tooth every year. But you can't brush every year and expect to keep all your teeth in the next 10 years. Like my dentist just told me, I went for a checkup and he said, you're doing okay. Just keep on brushing, and he showed me how to brush, how he would brush. And he said a lot of people get it wrong. They forget about the gum line and they're brushing only the teeth. And that's where things can go wrong over time.
It's in the line. It's in the line. What's the line?
So the foundations, where you're building on, that has to hold things in place. Once we got that right, you can always build on the more fancy stuff and the intricate stuff. But the basics, and if you can visualize the basis and it's solid, the rest will follow.
That's it.
That's
it. That's very profound. That's very profound, because just think about it. If we can actually look at our way of thinking. I like what Clinton said. He said our right way of thinking as the foundation. That's why you were saying we got to get the foundation right, because if the foundation is wobbly, if the foundation is kind of like not on point, then whatever that we're trying to build on top of that, it might not show straight away that this thing is useless, but give it a couple of years or even a few months, and then suddenly you wonder what happened. I thought I thought I was digging deep. No, you were not digging deep. You were kind of like just messing about. Yes, sir. No, absolutely. I agree with you. And I think one of the other things is when we talk about bring it from the perspective that you're talking about, from an engineer perspective and engineering, and how you can use those concepts to kind of like paint the picture, being the foundation and making sure that whatever it is that we're looking to build, it's not only going to last for now, it's going to last for years to come. But I believe, because that is a kind of a thinking, that's kind of a mindset, it's not going to be like, because all right, Kendrick and Andrew came on here, they were saying that because if I want to build my family, and I need to make sure I have the right kind of thinking. I have to have the right kind of thinking. The question is, what kind of thinking are we talking about? So that's what you and I need to determine is, all right, what do I we don't generalize it. For you, maybe a rightful thinking is different from what's for myself. So you as an individual need to know what is rightful thinking for you. I gotta know what's rightful thinking for me. Otherwise, I will go based on what Andrew is saying, and then when I start moving on it, it's not real. It's just flaky. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like what you said about us having a sound mind, because if you've got, let's say you had enough sleep, you're on holiday and you're relaxed, you're ready to take a long journey in the car, you're so prepared, you know what to do, you've got 10 years experience driving. But you're well rested, you take that journey with ease. But let's say you just finished work and you have to take the trip. You haven't slept, you haven't prepared, mentally you're tired. It's not going to be a comfortable journey for you.
It won't be.
So preparing is key for the journey.
Yeah.
And taking time out to think. So if you got a sound mind, your performance is better. Same when you take an exam. And I think it's good that God made us to go sleep every night. So that you can renew your mind. So if something, like you said, you cry at night, something happened, been a difficult time, by the next morning you should be okay.
It's like, all right, I'm done.
Because it's a new day. It's a new opportunity. You had the chance to renew your mind and rest and recoup. So that's important, I think.
Absolutely. Well, sir, we are right in the top of the hour. My goodness, I know the time just goes so very quickly, and I want to make sure I honor your time. I don't want to keep you on here much longer than what's needed, but listen, thank you so much for your input, guys.
Excellent.
It's all about making sure that we have the right kind of thinking. It's about making sure that we don't wing it, because our thinking produces our life. That's as simple as that. We can't even go deeper than that. It's like, if you want to produce a specific life for yourself, if I want to produce a specific life for myself, I need to pay attention to my thinking, how I think, what I think, because eventually it will produce either life or it will produce death. All right. So thank you so much for jumping on, and for those that are going to listen to this afterwards, hopefully this will bless you, and we hope to see you guys very soon. All right.
Thank you very much.
Have an amazing. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
And everyone.
Amazing evening. All right. Bye bye.
We'll catch up. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.